Okay, so I wanted to take some time and talk about my process and image transfer and what to do with some of these beautiful things that we have made. So this is some eucalyptus that we painted, right? Remember doing this? And then I did the red underpainting. Well, I made a second one for my mother, a smaller one for her bathroom. And I, on a whim, made this little cicada on a separate like mixed media sheet of paper and watercolored it, and I ended up cutting it out. And I cut it out and placed it on top of my already beautiful eucalyptus watercolor, and I think it's fantastic. So I wanted to talk to you about how I got the cicada onto my mixed media page, how I painted it. That process will come in another video, the painting part. But the image transfer part, I wanted to take you down the road of how I arrived to this. Okay, so I took some time and I just drew out a bunch of cicada on some tracing paper. These are just kind of little rough sketches of all different sizes that I thought would be appropriate for these leaves to put the cicadas on. Okay, so once I've got this, just drawn on my tracing paper, and I could have arrived to these images either tracing over something or just drawing them straight on to the tracing paper. But then what I'm going to do is get another sheet of onion paper or tracing paper, and I just went around and I ruled out the ones that I don't like. Like this guy I really didn't like because of his legs. And this one, the wings were so huge, I don't think I used this one either. But I just went on top of, what was already there and just cleaned up the lines and made it a lot more simplified. And then that way, once I've got these more simplified drawings, I can take my mixed media paper, and you can see I've already got one here that I've done, which is this one. And all I did to get it onto this mixed media paper was take my graphite paper, piece of paper with graphite on the back of it. This is not carbon paper. Carbon paper puts a darker line that's hard to erase, but graphite paper is definitely a lot more eraser friendly. So I reused this several times. So let's trace over one. Let's do this guy right here. So I'm going to find a place on my graphite paper that I know has a lot of graphite on it, and I'm simply just going to trace. And this purpose is for an outline so that I can actually cut out this cicada on the mixed media paper. And once I cut that out, then I'll color it in another video. I'll show you how I watercolor my cicada. But right now, this is an image transfer technique and process. I'm going to show you another alternative process if you didn't want to put these cicada on another sheet of paper, if you actually wanted to put them on the painting itself, which is very possible. Okay, so now that I've got the rough outline, I didn't even bother with the wing or anything. I'm going to see if it transferred. Yep, and there it is. That's perfect. Okay, and then my next thing I would do with this is cut them out. Now, if you wanted to paint straight on here, I would take my tracing paper. And this is why I love tracing paper so much. Look what's going to happen. I can actually put these bugs down on top of my eucalyptus and actually see how they would look sitting and where I want to place them, because I can see the leaves underneath. Isn't that awesome? I mean, he could be sitting right there on this group of leaves, which is perfect. And then all I would have to do once I placed it is take my graphite paper, slide it under there, and then I would begin to trace, and the graphite would end up on here, and at least I would have a very light outline and boundary of where I'm going to paint my cicada or whatever other bug I've got going on. So I hope that helps you out with a little bit with my process of how I get this going with the graphite paper and some tracing paper, and ultimately arrive at this. Is really trying to figure out where you want to cut out and actually frame what we've made. So I think that looks pretty, right? Once I figure out where I want the frame, I just have to go back with the piece of glass, place it on there, and then I just trace around and cut it out, and then it'll be perfectly in the frame where I want it. Okay guys, so I hope that helps you out a little bit with the process. I'm going to take the time and trace out the rest of my cicada onto my mixed media paper and begin cutting them out. So in the next video, you're actually going to meet me with a bunch of these little cutouts that are all going to be white, and we're going to start our cicada together in watercolor. All right, I'll see you guys then. Hope this video helped learn a little bit more about how I image transfer and what I do, with my paintings, and a little bit about my process. See you soon.